Okay, today I want to talk about the buffer pin on the Ruger 1022. I briefly touched on it when I was talking about the trigger group for the 1022, but I've had a few people ask me, well, why? So that's what I want to tell you today, is why, and show you exactly how to install it. The stock buffer pin in a Ruger 1022 is steel. And the aftermarket buffer pins that I make and sell, they can be made out of rubber, they can be made out of nylon, there's Teflon, there's a bunch of different ones on the market. The whole idea is to save your receiver. This is the bolt out of a Ruger 1022, and every time it chambers around, this bolt comes back and hits this buffer pin. That's what this groove is. And then it goes forward and chambers the round, and then you fire it. The receiver is aluminum. This is steel, and it has some mass to it. It's pretty heavy. And this is steel. So let me show you. It's quite simple. This is the Ruger 1022. And you have to take off your barrel band if you don't have a full floating barrel, and one screw in the bottom. One screw. It's very simple to remove. So you take that screw out, and that screw is captive. It stays in the stock, so you don't have to worry about dropping or losing it. Once it's in or loosened, you then need to put your safety halfway, because the safety has to clear the stock. If you don't put it halfway, it doesn't want to pull out, but it comes out quite easily. And this is your Ruger 1022 receiver. Now this happens to be an aftermarket receiver, one that I buy and finish, and the stock buffer pin would be in this location. You don't have to do anything to the receiver to change this buffer pin. It's quite simple. All you have to do is take a punch and knock out the existing buffer pin, which in your case will be a steel buffer pin, and it just comes right out. There's nothing to hold it in. It's so you would knock out your steel buffer pin and then install a nylon buffer pin. I dropped the steel. Understand that this is aluminum. Now this is a little bit heavier duty than the one from Ruger, but your steel buffer pin, and you can see this steel buffer pin fits in looser than the nylon one. And from the factory, they're snug, but over time, with the bolt coming back, well, hundreds and hundreds of times, because if you're like me, we shoot these guns a lot, this hammers out this hole, and it'll become egg-shaped. In time, it'll destroy your receiver. I happen to use nylon ones holding in the trigger group. That's not necessary. There's no movement there, but just overkill, I put those in. But when you put the nylon one in, and mine that I sell are about 2/1000 oversized, and that's on purpose to, in case yours has some wear. Okay, now it doesn't line up perfectly. I just bring back the bolt and bump it. It's going to line it up, and it'll go right in. Well, making a liar out of me. Now, every time the bolt comes back and hits the buffer pin, it's going to make the gun quieter. It's not going to have a metallic clink, and it's not going to wear out your receiver. It's something, you don't have to buy it from me. Buy it from anybody. Make it yourself. I told you on another video, you can go to the hardware store and buy a 3-inch nylon bolt and cut out the unthreaded portion and make your own pin to put in here. It's just something that you should do. It makes the gun better. Why Ruger doesn't do it? Strom Ruger is very, very knowledgeable and build great guns. But the auto bolt release and the buffer pin are two things that I'm just shocked that they haven't done it. They finally did put in the extended bolt mag release. Originally we had a button to push and it wasn't good. They finally went to this from the factory. And maybe in time they'll do the auto bolt release and the buffer pin. But in the meantime, you can do them both yourself. I talked about the auto bolt release. I've got a couple of them here. Both of these are already changed. But all you have to do is remove, as I showed you before in a different video, there's a piece that comes down right here, and that's what catches the bolt, and you have to raise that up so it'll release. This actually stops the bolt when it goes up, but then it won't release the bolt because of this piece. If you just Dremel that out or file it, this is hard steel, but it comes out. You can do it yourself. Just make it like that, and that and the buffer pin, and you've improved your Ruger 1022 a lot. So that's why it's a simple thing. You put it in. Installation is exactly the same as taking it apart, only in the opposite. Again, put your safety halfway. If it sticks out too far, it'll catch on the, they don't want to stay in the center, but it'll drop right in. And I heard it snap, not went in. Okay. This screw, like I said, is captive. It can't come out. Put that one in first. Tighten it up. And I'm not using the right screwdrivers. And then you'll put on your tighten it up, and you're done. So it's a simple installation. It's something that you can do yourself. Makes the gun better, but that's the reason why a buffer pin and a Ruger 1022. Crazy Frank signing out.